it, you know he's rideable. You know he's got plenty of steps, so there's never a reason to hurry. Always ride slow, let the horse focus on straightness, let it take its time. Then life will be easy down the road. Now the one thing you might have an issue with, I have no idea. There's a tree right there. Yeah. The straight line to this jump puts you cantering right next to the tree on the right side. If you feel like you're going to hit the tree, you aren't straight. If your horse shies away from the tree, you probably weren't straight. So think about that.
So wait, straight away is on the right?
Yes, ma'am. Here is perpendicular to this jump. Perpendicular to this jump is pointed at that stop sign.
Oh, okay.
Okay? It's right next to the trees.
Oh, I see it now.
All right, so trot and canter out. Again, the jumps are little. We don't want to hurry. We also don't want to make him think they're big jumps because they're not. So just be casual. Jump in, plan the slow 8 is fine.
You set that up as a test.
Yeah, I thought I'd mention it. That way if he does like spook at the tree, I don't have to go, oh, by the way, did you not see the tree?
Yeah.
And you know me, I'm a big ad person. Go slow with horses and like easy. Hurry them down there trying to get a certain number the very first time. Especially with the young horses. They just get confused and they get fast.
Yeah.
Fast horse. Of course, we did discover the first day that my version of wild and Mackenzie's version of wild apparently are two different things.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I'm like, he's wild. And Mackenzie's like, really? Because you have a leap in there. And I'm like, yeah, but he feels wild. Or you could chip in 9.
And still spook away from the tree.
So he gets a pet on the neck, huh?
Yeah.
Because he was pretty good.
That was gonna be okay.
Well, you know, actually, let me just say this. Had you seen that a step earlier and closed your leg, I think he would have been fine there. But he did exactly what I said he was going to do, which is the first jump is this big, and he literally stepped over it like a pole on the ground. Okay? So that meant when you steadied thinking you're going to do 8, well, he was barely cantering. So again, he is so rideable, it was going to give you a gap in 8. Because you were slow, you simply let go. And you know what? I don't blame you because I am the one who told you it was going to be fresh. He did the right thing. You let go and you didn't squeeze. I wouldn't have squeezed either. You'd think he's going to be fresh. I told you it was going to be fresh. You didn't squeeze. He's like, well, heck, I'll just take another step. And then, of course, when he chipped, he faded left. Then he thought he was going to hit the tree, so he faded right. So let's do that again.
Okay.
I don't think you need to go any faster. I think you can balance. You might not need to steady as much. If you end up at that same place, be slower with your body and just close your calf so that he knows what you want.
Okay.
That would have been a great place for him to buck. I guess he didn't want to. I was like sure of it.
I promise I didn't do anything.
Lena,
I didn't think they'd find me here.
they're coming for Lena.
Shh.
I'm not gonna surprise
What? Was that them?
I don't know. It did look like a police motorcycle. It was black and white, but obviously off duty because nobody was in there.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was some cop shooting with his girlfriend.
I think so too. Yay!
He really thinks he's going to hit that tree. Super, huh?
a lot better.
Now, the other thing you noticed, okay? I'm just giving you education because young horses are all I do.
Yeah.
So you went down there and you were actually too long in 8. You went down there again just as slow and steadied and you ate up the 8. Right? This is my point about taking your time. With these young horses, if you will focus, even if it's an ugly ad, if you will focus on riding them slow to the bottom, straight, give them the time to see what you want and where the next jump is, then you can pretty much, like, if you could have gone in and just dropped the reins and walked 7 that time. because this horse is very rideable. You're in an open field. Don't ever let him think he can hurry in an open field, okay? But that's where you just saw my reason of always adding. If you will take your time with these young horses, add the step, let them see, this is where you are, this is what I want from you, this is what I want, here's the next jump. Instead of putting your leg on and hurrying them down there, they get so relaxed, their strides will get huge on their own, especially if they're a horse like this who has a big stride. You can always get down the line. Take your time and let him see everything. Then your life gets easier. You just look at him. Me? No, him. Oh. So he's not stupid. He knows that tree's pretty close. He's looking at it, but he doesn't step away from it. Then he gave you a beautiful corner. Yeah. So let's do this with an oxer. Okay. Now, personally, you know you can walk the 7 because you were going pretty slow and got to the bottom at 8. So what's the right choice, 7 or 8? For the first time now. Correct, yes. Because now we've just put an oxer up. So there's a couple things. This is not a... This horse doesn't really spook at the jumps. If you baby him the first time so he sees it, he's not real jump spooky. You know that. You saw him over new jumps. But the first time at an oxer, the last thing you want to do with the young horse is be long and weak and have to kick, because then you encourage the horse to jump flat and you have a horse that naturally jumps round. So we just changed something. It's an oxer. If anything, you're better off being a little to the bottom of the oxer. So I would distinctly say, let's go in and do the 8 one more time. Okay? Now also, if I had ridden this horse like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we could handle this a little different. He sat in a field or in his stall for 2 weeks while I was at the horse show. Was not touched, except for to go in and out of the pasture. I took Tuesday off because I was wiped out. So he literally had a 10-minute lunge Wednesday. That's it. And Thursday I hopped on and jumped him, and he had yesterday off. So this is not necessarily an everyday, but this is what I would recommend, like if you were riding him your first time at home or at a horse show. This is what I would recommend. At my house, this is not what I would recommend. But since he's really out of practice and I did move the jumps, I'm telling you the program for a horse show. 8. Right. Generally, if we're at home, I would like trot in, canter out 8, trot in, canter out 7, and go canter out 6. But again, he's out of practice. So I want you to understand this would be your horse show, or when you get him home, this is the routine you follow, okay? This time you might want to use your voice a little. Let go, close your leg. Oh, this is a nice horse. It's nice when they jump that slow, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, that is the beauty, but it's the tricky thing about this horse. This horse is rideable. I can get on and canter down that line and do 6, and I can get on and canter down that line and do 10. He is, and you did what I told you to do, and he listened so well you had to close your leg. But it is nice to be able to drop the reins and do that. Now, a little quiz. Pretend we're at a horse show. Okay? Little quiz. Let's look at this line. White to the white. Obviously, since I took the rail off, you can tell I've had people trot in. So, we have a white plank, which they're more likely to look down and jump up on, which is nice, as opposed to stepping over that. We have a shorter line. It's 4 strides. Gives him less time to judge the second jump. We have flowers, a brush box that you can see through, take it. So it's going to want to lengthen its stride. However, and I'm not talking about him, how my brain works in general. Great, gravity takes it, it lengthens the stride. That also means it's probably off balance. Probably going to jump.